So hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a little bit more of an in-depth look at the Shimoda Explore 30-liter backpack. I did a kind of a first look video a few weeks ago, kind of pointed out some things that maybe I didn't like. I've used the backpack a couple of weeks since then, and kind of wanted to expand on those gripes, if you will. Now, if you bought this backpack and find that it works out great for you, that's awesome, man. I mean, it's so hard to find a backpack that just meets all of your needs. But there's just some things with this particular backpack that I think you should know before you buy it. And that's kind of why I'm making this video, just kind of point these things out. They may be a big thing to you. They may not be a big thing to you. They're not a big thing to me, but you know, just they're worth mentioning. Let's first start off with one of the main complaints about this bag that I've seen online, okay? That is that it won't stand up on it. It has a hard time standing up on its own. And that is true, but I've made a few modifications that, as you can see, has helped that. The first thing I did was I took out the rain sleeve that comes in the bottom. There's a rain fly that comes with it, and they store it down here in the bottom. I went ahead and took that completely out because it simply will not stand up on its own with that rain fly in there. And then because it wants to tip forward, I took some socks, some old socks, and stuffed in the front between the backpack and the camera cube. So what that does is, it gives you a little more in the front, so it kind of balances it out. And that seems to have helped with the standing up on its own quite a bit. Now, especially if you have a fair amount of weight in here. So if you're having trouble with this camera backpack standing up on its own, you might try that method. It's worked out pretty good for me. So the first big complaint I have about this bag is this front pocket. This front pocket, I was hoping would be good for like an extra piece of article of clothing, maybe a jacket, a hoodie, something like that. But it is so thin, it is so narrow, I can barely get my hand in there. And it just really makes it kind of hard to use. Now, I've seen some people like, oh, I'll put my passport in there, some documents in there, things like that. And I understand that this is an urban carry bag. And you may have use for something like that, you know, somewhere to put your documents that's flat. And that would be a good place for that. But in my case, I'm just not carrying documents around every day. So I was hoping to get more use out of this than I have. Also, there's a little pouch in here, clear pouch that you can store stuff in. And again, you can't really see what's down in there. It's hard to get to. It's hard to get to the zipper to open that up. It's hard to access. Just not my favorite thing in the world. I really wish they had built this a little bit more expandable for a little bit more functionality. Okay, let's talk about an extra article of clothing, because let's just say you're going along, you know, and it's cold in the morning and you have a hoodie on or something like that, and you have your backpack, and later on in the afternoon it gets warm, or vice versa. I've only found there's a couple of places to do that, okay? Like I was saying, this one right here, there's no way. This is just a light pull over. Is there a way? It might barely fit in there. It might barely fit in there, but I don't think you're getting that zipper closed. Well, it'll just, well, I'll just prove myself wrong. So anyway, you may barely be able to get like a hoodie in there. And then also, if you have the laptop in there, you're just going to take up more space in this particular compartment. So that might be one solution to carry an extra article of clothing right there. But it's pretty tight. I wouldn't count on that too much. Your other option is I would just call this free storage in the top of this bag. And if you don't have anything in here, hoodie would definitely fit in there, okay? But more than likely, if you're a camera geek like me, you're gonna have some kind of extra stuff, camera stuff stuffed in the top of this thing. And once you get something like this in there, the extra hoodie becomes more and more difficult to get in there and secure, okay? So just something to keep in mind on that. Now you can also, there's a place back here, this extra laptop storage here. You could theoretically stuff your hoodie in there and then kind of press it down. Close your backpack like that. Now it is creating a huge bulge right here. I don't know how comfortable your backpack would be if you did something like that, but that is one option. The final option to carry a extra article of clothing is to use this water bottle thing, water bottle strap. You can run it up through like that, fold it over, and then you can keep your hoodie like that. So a few options to carry extra article of clothing. I don't know that any of them are ideal except for this top access here. But again, if you have something in there camera related, it's going to have a hard time fitting an extra article of clothing. So my other big complaint about this backpack is there's nowhere to store your little bits and bobs that seem to just kind of run loose in your backpack. Say for instance, you have this GoPro and you need to take off this door. Now you know as well as I do that if you lose this door, that's the end. Like you have to get another, I don't know if they sell a new door, but this is the older GoPro. So if I lose this door, I'm pretty much out of a GoPro. So if I put it in my backpack and just let it run loose, I really run the chance of losing this piece. Well, so I always like to store it somewhere in a secure location. And if you look at the design of this backpack, there's only one good solution that they give you, and that is this extra pouch up here on the top. The problem with this extra pouch up here on the top is if you have anything in the top compartment, the extra void storage that I was talking about earlier, it pulls this compartment down. So to get into this storage, you have to lift this little part up here. And again, it's kind of hard and cumbersome to get into and store your extra stuff. You can see it really just wants to pull this down into the backpack. So it's a little tricky to get anything in and out of this little storage compartment here, which is, it's great and it's clear. You can see everything in it and it's good as far as that goes, but getting in, access to it, getting little bits and bobs in and out of it is kind of a pain. The solution that I've come up with, and may not be the best, is I've been carrying little packs like this. It's just a little zipper pouch from Lowepro that I've had forever, and I keep my little bits and bobs in this little pouch in here. And I think that Shimoda does sell different pouches and things that may work better than this. But if you're going to be getting this backpack, I would highly suggest getting something like see, like even like this little thing right here is just down on the bottom of my backpack. It's a little tripod clip. I really don't want it running loose down the bottom. So I need to store that in a place like that. This might be the best solution if you buy this particular backpack, to have a place to store those little bits and bobs as you go throughout the day. Now, what I would like to have seen other than this solution is to have these same clear plastic pockets over here like a normal backpack. Now I understand that some people may want to carry a laptop and a tablet, or maybe just want to put their tablet back here and that's all. They might want to use that laptop storage for something else. I understand this gives you plenty of options, but for me personally, using this as primarily a camera backpack, I would have loved to seen those little clear plastic pockets right here like a normal backpack would have. And like I say, Shimoda does a great job. They're clear and they have this blue background. You can see everything in there. These are awesome, you know, but I just wish they were right here. One of the cool things about this backpack is you can take out this camera cube like this. Oh man, I messed up my sock situation. Oh well, I'll get them back in there. You can take out the camera cube if you don't want to use it as a camera backpack. And then you can just use this as a normal backpack. It is massive, massive backpack. And you can unzip this sleeve and have access all the way from the top to the bottom. Or, you know, if you just want to use this as a day trip, you can put all your clothes back here and just open it up like that. So it does make this backpack extra convenient if you want to use it just as a normal backpack, like, you know, day trip style, I would say. But one of the other complaints that I have about this backpack is the side access. Now, because this is such a large camera cube, they had to use the whole side of this camera cube for the side access, which makes it kind of weird as far as the spacing goes in your camera bag. Okay, say you take your camera and you put it in there like this. Well, that leaves this much open when you go to access your camera access. So even if you had like a little divider right here, it's not going to fully attach to this flap when you're opening it up and closing it. So whatever's up here is going to want to push down into your camera. Okay, now if you put your camera like this, you have the same situation, just a little less space up here. So it's just to me not a very efficient way to lay out a backpack side access. Like, again, I understand why it is the way it is, because it's an extra large camera cube and they have to have an extra large opening in the backpack itself. And I appreciate that it's there, but it's just not very economical as far as the space goes in this backpack. Generally, I do use side access in a variety of my other backpacks, but most of those don't have a camera cube. They're just individual built-in camera cube. So I do use side access, but in this camera backpack, I just decided, you know, it's just not worth losing this much space for the side access. And the last thing that about this backpack that I'm just not in love with, I guess you would say, is these water bottle pockets. I wish they expanded a little bit more. You just can't haul a very big water bottle. It has to be super skinny to get in here. About 24-ounce water bottle, skinny fashion, long and skinny, is about all you can get. If you want to carry something like a big 48 or something like that, it's not going to fit. You're going to have to hang it off your backpack somewhere. That's a more in-depth look at the Shimoda Urban Explore 30 liter. Again, I'm not you know, harping on this bag or saying anything bad about it because I've been using it for the past few weeks and I absolutely love it. It's probably one of the most comfortable backpacks that I've ever worn, and definitely feels the most premium out of the backpacks I ever wore. I mean, just the metal frame and the padding, everything combined just makes it extremely comfortable and nice back to carry. The materials have held up well so far, so not a knocking on it. I'm just saying you should be aware of these things before you purchase. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure you hit a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I do a lot of crazy content, so you never know what you're going to get. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.